Use the thick one.
But you also.
Yeah, I like
I'm
that.
manufacturing a punch for my cigar.
Just remember, you're live right now. So here we go.
Hey, use the thick one. This is the stuff you don't get on those hoity-toity podcasts.
The stuffy ones.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that picture.
Lovely new logo, I noticed too.
I love it. I love it.
You like that? You know, we're always trying to improve things around here.
Yeah, at least annually.
Nice
you're giving us way too much credit if you think it's annual. That's for sure. All right, might as well get started though. So here we go.
This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Hey, listener. This is Venice, and you're listening to Voice from the Underground, proud members of the Tangent Bound Network and the famous original podcast network. Welcome to the Underground.
From the Underground.
My favorite podcast.
Check out DJ. Check out Big Ass. Check out Dutch.
My favorite podcast.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Voice from the Underground.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Via You Podcast.
Welcome to the Underground.
Voice from the Underground.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Voice from the Underground, the podcast. We are a gnarly spirited, super dope, and often mind-numbing juxtaposition of politics and pop culture coming straight from the underground and into your virgin earballs. It is I, Jasen Dutch, back on you on this live stream edition numero dos with Big Hussein. Big Hussein in the Batcave causing havoc and avoiding being shot by armed militia. What's happening?
I literally did that yesterday.
You literally avoided getting shot by armed militia yesterday?
Or you were in the basement?
No, you know what happened was my kids were with my aunt this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And we were supposed to pick them up yesterday. But my aunt lives down by Navy Pier. And so my uncle calls and he's like, y'all might not want to come down here today. They're protesting, and the first protest or rally was the Back the Blue rally. And then right after that, like hard segue, hard left, right into the Black Lives Matter protest. So he was like, they're supposed to be
nice of them to share.
Right. So he's like, they're supposed to be taking up the bridges and closing off streets and all this stuff. If you get in, you might not get out.
The peaceful rally was first, and then the hoodlums came in.
Yeah. So
that sounds about right.
We kind of stayed up. We stayed at home and had another kid-free night, which was cool. So
very nice.
Yeah. But my wife was for a hot second, she was like, we should go down and protest. And I was like, man, the way things have been, I'd love to go, but the way things have been, I'd have to have Siegfried on me. And, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
no, we'll get into that in a second here. So
for sure.
First of all, welcome back to our newly hired, we're not paying him shit, producer, Michelangelo Famine. Welcome back, Michelangelo.
I'm gonna teach him how to smoke cigars and stuff. So,
oh man, I don't want to smoke cigars, Haas.
Well, you're not gonna just get rubbing tugs, dude. Okay.
Well,
who says?
Oh well, Dutch, you're
you're
more than welcome to fly in, Dutch, and tag in, so to speak.
I was lucky enough to have dinner with Big Haas, and then he's tried to convert me into his He took me to his pleasure dungeon. I saw it. There was tires.
Yep.
And sleds and Peloton bikes and chains.
Yep.
And Bluetooth speakers, and I didn't want any part of it. I saw too much. I can never see what I saw.
And Alizé.
Going in there is like looking in the prince's eyes.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back, and let's get to introducing our non-voice from the underground guests here. Everyone here knows these guys well. We'll start with the host of the show, Imran from Jock and Nerd. What's up, man?
Hi, kids. How's it going?
Hi, kids. You
Hey, I'm the clown you hired. Is this the children's birthday party? I'm the clown.
It is. Oh,
I think I'm in the wrong place.
You're at the wrong place.
Thanks for having me.
You must be a pedophile like Joe Biden. Oh my God.
No, I just like, clowning around. I like being a clown. It was one of my dreams as a kid to join the circus as a clown. I'm not afraid of them. I want to be them.
Well, there you go. So now you're one of the hierarchy of clowns. So welcome back, Imran. And also from Jock and Nerd. So this is sort of a joint pot. Maybe you guys should share this on the Jock and Nerd page right now. See if any of those dorks want to watch this.
Maybe I will.
Antoine, he's the jock.
Correct.
He's the nerd.
Supposedly.
Super Jock.
Welcome back, Superman. What's happening?
Hey, thanks, Clark
I love
Kent.
the throwback Tron nature of the curtains in your background.
Yeah, you like that, dude? I was like, these curtains, I was like, I've had these for a while. I was like, why do I need new curtains? I'm just going to throw these bad boys up. So here we go. I didn't know why.
I saw those in Stranger Things. That's how you get to the upside down.
That's a portal.
I actually haven't seen Stranger Things, so went over.
He's the jock. That's why he's the jock.
I haven't watched Stranger Things either.
Yeah.
I did watch that show. What the fuck was the name of that show? Fuck it. I forgot the name of the show.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
I like
very
it.
good.
What channel is that on?
That's on RedTube.
I've never heard of that. Dutch, I was told that Jock, you promised me that Jock was not going to be on here. This is the only reason I agreed to come on.
Well, I did promise you that, but
I do want to know why Imran is here with a painted white beard. That is not what clown paints their beard white.
It's
Imran?
not.
That's Time-made stunt double. You didn't know that?
This is all natural. I'm going for the Wolfgang, Doctor Strange, Wolfman Jack kind of. No, it does what it does. I had no control. Why would I do this every morning to myself? Come on.
Anyone that talks like that, I don't know. Can't trust a guy that looks like that either.
Where's Rug Boy?
Ruggs is asleep. He's exhausted. I don't know. He's old.
No.
He needs his beauty sleep.
Yeah,
Can relate.
His slack hole is evacuated.
I just got to say right off the bat, though, this show feels completely different. I mean, we're live streaming. You have this guy from a bin. Like, what is going on? When did you guys upgrade?
Well, welcome into Cortez and Malcolm for joining the show. If you guys have any questions, let us know. But let's get the personal stuff out of the way with Imran. Tell us all about that. Tell us all about the painted beard, Imran. What are you trying to accomplish here today?
It's not painted. It's not painted. It's something called vitiligo. Look, I was born a little brown boy.
I was born this way. I was born this way.
And I got vitiligo when I was 6, and then slowly all my brown disappeared, and then I became completely white, which was great for a long time.
Did your credit score go up as your brown disappeared?
Yeah, but it was. I would get all the reservations in the restaurants. People would hold the doors open. It was wild. But now the vitiligo is affecting my hair follicles, causing the hair to go white in random, weird, asymmetrical.
Inconceivable.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
This is one of the only men in the world that has lived life as a brown man and a white man.
Yeah, it's been
you and MJ.
Yes, quite a journey. Yes, exactly.
You're gonna love my nuts.
And he's down the same path too. Just so everyone knows.
I loved your Smooth Criminal album. It was incredible.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Now, would Smooth Criminal be considered the first white Michael Jackson album?
Yeah, well, I mean, it would have been
Dangerous.
bad. By bad, he was white. Thriller.
No. He was still beige.
He was beige in bad.
He was beige in the bad album.
Okay, so by dangerous, he is definitely translucent like me.
Okay.
When the single Jam came out,
yes, with heavy.
we knew.
Yeah.
with Heavy D.
Remember
Where's
Heavy D?
Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Heavy D.
He
He died?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dilly,
man.
dilly, 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 dee.
Malcolm Scare, I believe it's pronounced Scarce, says, I'm digging that man's two-tone beard. So we'll get you
Uh-oh.
Two-tone Tony in the house. All right, see, I'm getting used to
We're
yeah,
making love connections up in here
Beard
already.
getting-
So there it is right there, the
All
two-tone
natural.
beard.
It's all
Look at that.
natural.
Yeah.
So
Unbutton
thank you
one more
for
button. Just as the show goes on, just continue unbutton those buttons. Start with the pocket.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let me put this one back on. Hold
Let's,
on.
1692.
all right, white privilege here. I'm gonna take control of this. So listeners,
Onlyfans.com.
listeners, we this show, in case you're listening on the audio podcast, this will be the first time ever that I'm going to rip audio from YouTube, because I'm not recording this on cast or anything like that, because we have too many people on show. So if the audio sucks, go fuck yourself. All right, now let's go to the first topic of the day. One of the main reasons why I have this particular collection of losers on today. There's a lot of, first of all, let me just say this. It's been a bad year. It's been, starting with, I think Kobe Bryant kicked it off, and it's just been nonstop downhill since then. COVID, George Floyd, what's going on in Kenosha now. And we haven't even got the goddamn elections yet, but it's like, it's just killer hornets. I mean, there's just two hurricanes at one time coming into the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, it's just fucking horrible. And now we've added to that with another loss. So we'll start with this, and I want to start with Imran with this one, because this is your, you and Tony's specialty. So I'm going to let you. I know that you guys, unfortunately, you guys got to stop recording your show right before things happen.
I know.
Yeah,
miss it.
We had to get you on with Stan Lee also, but it's like, we just recorded, we post the show, and then Stan Lee decides to die. You jerk! Why couldn't you die on Wednesday?
They have the worst timing.
But immeasurable grief that we confirmed the passing of Chadwick Boseman, diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016. Battled it in these last 4 years. That progressed to stage 4. Died with his wife and family nearby. How did this strike you, Imran? And we'll go from there. What does this mean to you?
Dude, shocking and sad and surprising. Clearly, he did an amazing job of keeping it personal, which, as you know, in social media is really hard to do. But he's 7 months younger than me, right? We were born in the same year. I'm just 7 months older than him. And suddenly I'm like, colon health is important. It's wild, and on my dad's side, I have a bunch of cancer. And so to see him at this age, just so sad. That movie, he's played so many amazing people. I just watched Get On Up, where he plays James Brown. Amazing dancing. Well, he learned how to do the dance, but Black Panther had so much impact, so big, changed so many things. It was such a game changer, and he's so good that he'll always be a hero. Beyond that, he just there's a special on TV, and they showing him. He made all these movies while he had stage 3 cancer. He went to visit sick kids who are dying of cancer while he is secretly battling cancer. Unbelievable.
Yep.
That's a hero, man.
Yeah, don't forget A Note from the King too. That was a great movie too. I watched it again last night.
The Five Bloods was pretty good too. I don't know if you guys watched that.
That's in retrospect, that's when I first started.
Noticed?
Well, I didn't notice. I just started questioning what was going on, because there were some scenes. The way he was filmed and everything in that movie had me a little kind of like looking at it sideways. And then some of the scenes where there was action involved and he was noticeably absent, considering all the actions he's already been involved in. You know what I mean? I was like, why wasn't he involved in that? I mean, what's going on?
He looked gaunt also. And
he looked a little thin, but I was like, okay, is that for the movie?
Right.
Did he lose weight for the movie? And then there was that scene where they were, after MLK's assassination was announced by Hanoi Hannah, when they were all getting ready they were like gonna go shoot up some white American troops.
Right.
And instead of him mixing it up and getting in there and getting in between everybody and forcefully pushing them apart and all this other stuff. He just kind of stood up and held his hand out like Seeley from The Color Purple, was like, hey, that's not what we're going to do. And I was like, I always thought that was a little weird. I was like, okay, I like that in a certain way, but in another way, it's like it's not what I expect from him. And I thought, oh, well, he's going a whole different route, maybe. But
right
now, of course, I know, you know, and I'm 48, so I'm coming up on my second colonoscopy to take a look and all of that good stuff, because you know, black men are, you know, for white guys, it's like they say start at age 50. For black guys, it's started age 40 to 45.
They moved it up 5 years, like just the other day. They're like, we're at 45 now. It should probably be 40. In fact,
I had mine at my first one at 39.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's because you date all them black women though, so you
residual
Right.
rub off effect.
you know,
That's so
you got some of that post traumatic stress.
It was all them collard
syndrome
greens.
gene.
Some collard greens.
Yeah, some yams, and he had
And
to go 5 years
Yeah.
early.
He was
Then
getting too yam-tastic.
Then I moved to the Hispanic women. They started giving me menudo. I just can't eat.
Now you got high blood pressure.
I can't eat no stroganoff. I need the white food. But so we'll get Tony and Mike here real quick. I just want to one of the things that struck me on this is I was watching NBA tip-off yesterday before the game, and let me just say, Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal,
Ernie
and
Johnson.
I forget Ernie Johnson, right?
Ernie Johnson.
They do a fantastic job on that show, and they did a really good job about talking about the protests, and we'll talk about like the NBA side of the protests in a minute, but they had also talked about Chadwick Boseman and Cliff Robinson, who had just passed away.
Yes. Rest
Yeah,
in peace to an underrated player. I liked him a lot. He helped me win some money on a lot of fantasy leagues, and he always seemed like a real straight up kind of guy. So
yeah, he, you know,
The
a
old
traditional role player, I think, in NBA verbiage.
Mhm.
But I guess they had Chadwick Boseman on NBA Tip Off about just before COVID, I guess, and Kenny Smith was talking about how they had become very close, and just a few days ago had gotten a 26-page email from him regarding like how to deal with people and how to be a parent and just all this life coaching stuff. And he's like, dude, I've become very close with this guy over the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Not one time did he ever even mention that he had anything wrong with him. So Tony, Mike, in any order, you guys, what are your thoughts on this?
I got one thing real quick before I get into my thoughts. I just watched Big Haas take a scoop of ice cream and eat it during the podcast. I'm
It happens all the time.
I'm enjoying that the fact that this is now video and I can see what this man is eating
while he's
while
smoking a
recording.
cigar. Yeah.
We can always hear the noise, the clinking of glasses in the background during the humidor. Now we get to see and we have context to what the fuck the clinking is coming from. So, and I love how Mikey's using a glass. Hold up that glass again, Mike. See, it's invisible.
Oh, yeah. He's got the Wonder Woman glass from DC Comics. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's that Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That's the dark arts right there.
No, that's if you want me to tell everybody what I'm drinking, you're gonna have to put something in my pocket there. I'm gonna need some coins.
Sponsor this.
Why don't you reach in there and fish it out for yourself?
Oh, wrong pocket. Oh, wrong pocket.
Wrong
So-
again.
Habitual line stepper.
Very, very nice to see this man is staying well fed while he's recording a podcast. Anyways, so Chadwick Boseman, how did I find out? I saw it on our Facebook page, and I was like, no way. So I looked it up real quick, and all the stuff on Twitter was already popping out. I didn't do a ton of research in terms of like who the man was, but you guys have already kind of touched on it. The fact that he was dealing with this for 4 or 5 years and seeked no attention whatsoever for it, like even no sympathy, nothing.
Yeah.
That says a lot about that man's character to be battling all this stuff and be filming basically the legendary roles, the legend making roles, especially Black Panther. He'd already filmed Get On Up and 42, which I actually just watched before coming on this show. Yeah, man, I was super. This one hit me. I was like, man, this man is young. This man, they had a lot of movies planned for this guy. He was shot to the stratosphere with Black Panther, and this man was super talented, and to pass unexpectedly. I mean, there was a lot of stuff online where people were like making fun of the fact that he got like real skinny.
Yeah.
And it was like,
wow,
holy crap. Like you just don't know what anyone is going through. And
right.
when he was, the Five Bloods, I was like, man, he is kind of skinny, but it never like, as an actor, you're like, these guys probably take on their roles and they live their roles. So they get skinny, they get big. I thought it was no big deal, but I did like Big Haas. I was like, he kind of has like a cameo into Five Bloods. I felt like there was more to that character, and it felt like they attached his name. And maybe in retrospect, he just was sick and he couldn't film all the things that they wanted him to film. So, yeah, I mean, super, super heartbreaking. But what an icon! I mean, getting to film, Black Panther, James Brown. I think he played Thurgood Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall.
Jackie Robinson.
He played Ernie Davis too.
Yeah, so I mean, you get all those roles, and it has to say something about the man, right? That every time there's a major role for an African American, he was getting it. So, rest in peace, rest in power, whatever you want to say. But super admirable guy, and shocked to hear that he died, and super shocked to hear that he was battling colon cancer the entire time, and not a peep from the guy.
Absolutely, Mikey.
For me, like I was very young when Christopher Reeves got into his accident, and then he got sick and he passed. So that didn't really strike a chord, but I wept yesterday because he was a symbol, at least for like the 30-year-olds. I'm 33, so us 25 to 35, we've never had heroes that look like us, that play serious, good roles and do a good job at it. So this wasn't just like, oh, that one actor that was in a couple movies. This was the guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like Superman's vulnerable. It kind of like points out that mortality element of everything, which I don't know, with all the rest of the stress of the week, I wasn't ready for. And it was just the catalyst that ticked it for me, and the waterworks were just going. And I didn't try and stop myself. I just let it happen because it's perfectly natural. It's good. I feel a lot better now. Because if we would have started off the episode talking about Chadwick Boseman, I would have been done for. I wouldn't have made it. But like just on the Black Panther role, like he wasn't just like a gangster character. He was super smart, like one of the smartest people in Marvel, one of the best fighters in Marvel. Loved his family, loved his community, loved his country, just like everything that I've ever aspired to be. Got colon cancer and died. You know what I mean? Like I know that those two things aren't the same, but that's how it felt.
Right.
And it just kind of felt like, oh, like this sucks so much. But now that I've cried my tears, Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever, indeed.
And now I know how to model what kind of parent I want to be. I want to be my kids T'Challa.
Yeah. And he was and also a good son.
Yeah.
It's there's I obviously I think for obvious reasons Black Panther was streaming #1 on Disney Plus yesterday.
Well, they just showed it tonight on without any
ABC
breaks on ABC.
They did a little tribute to him
really?
with all the directors and stuff. Yeah, they no commercial break.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I know it was on TBS, I think. Also, the I had actually watched Justice League yesterday on TBS too.
Wow.
But
see how he is, Hans?
Self-flagellation is not encouraged, dude.
Man,
are you guys
really
do any of you have any excitement for the Snyder Cut?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Is that a kind of cigar for Haas?
It's
The Snyder Cut. I was like, whoa, I'm not sure.
It's
go
a
back
cut
into the archives.
It's a nice cut of steak.
It's tough to go from greatness to like now we're talking about Zack Snyder. That was quick, man. Got to work on those transitions.
All right, so keeping up with this. All right, I was debating about this because this hurts a lot. Like, it would have been the same, I think, not only for Chadwick Boseman, but I think more for Chadwick Boseman because of the iconic role that was in that. It was the first movie for an African American of this scale. I mean, I don't count Hancock. Hancock
Blank
was,
Man.
Yeah,
Meteor Man. Come on, Meteor Man.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But
what about Jack Slade from "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker"? Come on.
And then someone threw a Blade. I was like, Blade.
You're
was
right.
half
Why are we
monster.
even talking about him? Well, Blade actually, here's the thing. Blade should have had that been talked about in this way, but people didn't talk about it that way because it was Wesley Snipes, and Wesley Snipes was like, I don't know if it was that he wasn't taken seriously or that it was kind of a B movie or whatnot, but
it was that and the fact that no one knew that Blade was actually a comic book character, so they were like, vampire movie with Wesley Snipes, whatever.
Yeah,
cool.
Right.
I didn't at the time either, but I gotta be the guy. I gotta be Spawn, yes, but Spawn, like, again, he was never actually black on camera except for 2 seconds when the guy from Sons of Anarchy who played that part, who by the way is a really good martial artist. I forget the guy's name.
Michael Jai White.
Yeah, Michael Jai White. Right. He's the phenomenal martial artist.
When was he on Sons of Anarchy?
He was on Sons of. He played the first black member of the Sam Crow. He was the president of the black biker club they were friends with. He was on for.
You sure about that?
Yeah, he was.
I'm looking.
But
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure that's the same guy who was in
when
Spawn.
chocolate chips show up in mostly white shows. I usually know, and I watched every episode of Sons of Anarchy. You might be right.
We have a radar for these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's called Google. But I'm gonna ask so I'm gonna be the guy. Okay, I'm gonna ask the question. What do we? And I'm gonna start with Imran. What do we do with Black Panther 2?
Jeez, it's too soon.
I know, but you have to ask this question.
Well, yes. Look, but what they did with Black Panther, they treated this character the same way Captain America got treated, Iron Man, somebody huge, just happened to be an all-black, amazing cast and crew in the background. He's definitely defined this role. One of the best character introductions in Civil War, Captain America Civil War, when you meet him.
Yeah,
amazing, so good. So maybe this needs time. I'm torn because on the other hand, Mike, you just mentioned Christopher Reeves. He played Superman. He died. We got to recast Superman. These characters do need to go on.
Right.
It would be a shame to take T'Challa Black Panther off the table forever.
I got something on this.
Okay.
Yeah,
what would you do?
Because I don't think
know.
you can't do that.
I heard a rumor.
I heard a rumor before this.
Michael B. Jordan.
Okay, Tony, you go. Tony, you do it. You break it.
I heard a rumor before he had passed, maybe a couple months ago, that he was actually in a lot of arguments with Marvel because they were looking to already push the Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri.
Yeah.
And in the comics, she becomes Black Panther, and they were already looking to make that transition. So
yeah,
it obviously doesn't work. This is very soon, and it doesn't work. Marvel's very sad. Everyone's very sad, but they were looking, I think, to make that transition. So I think you don't recast him. Maybe you have some scenes, some cut scenes that you might have filmed from Black Panther, where you have him in the movie, but then you just kind of write him off as he's died, and you have Shuri become the new Black Panther, and it works out. I know that it seems really insensitive to talk already about the movies, because that doesn't really matter, but it is something I've thought about.
Yeah, you think about it right away. It doesn't make you a bad person to have to
I didn't think about it right away.
Well, no, I
neither.
Yes, you did. But
I did not.
Yes, I'll give you a great example of this. When Magic got HIV, a lot of talk was, there was a lot of people talking about, well, the Lakers are fucked now, right? And it's my first thought is that those people are selfish, but my second thought is that, they're not going to stop the NBA because Magic has HIV. They're not going to stop making Marvel films. You've got, Black Widow coming out soon, and I'm curious, as I was curious with this with Stan Lee too. What are they going to do with Stan Lee, because he had been such a huge part of not only the Marvel films but the ancillary Marvel films with Fox and all everything like the Fantastic Four and everything like that. So this is a part of life, and this is far from the first time that an actor has died. The Crow comes to mind, where Brandon Lee died during the making of the movie. You know what I mean? So it's but the issue is that T'Challa is a key character, and people want more of T'Challa in what is essentially an ongoing comic book on film. And they're not going to stop making these movies. They've already stopped because of COVID to start with. They're going to continue. As soon as COVID's done, they're going to ramp these up. Black Panther was slated for 2021. So they had to have been, I don't know if they started shooting or if they were about to start shooting, but it's got to have been close, right?
And I know that there was a lot of talk about the Dora Milaje, the Black Panther's bald-headed assassins.
Yeah.
Who are some of the most badass women on camera I've ever seen, about them having their own movie.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be cool.
And I'm here for that.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And also, you're wrong, Dutch. That was Rockman Dunbar, not Michael Jai White.
Oh, snap. Okay. That's why you got a producer.
You know, all black people look alike.
God damn it.
But man, I was looking forward to Black Panther 2 when there was hints of like Namor maybe introduced and the Atlanteans, and there was going to and a huge war between Wakanda and but
they even talked about that during
Endgame
because they said there was a big earthquake under the water.
So maybe you make Shuri Black Panther, and then maybe years down the line, like he comes back to life and you recast when everyone is healed. Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
Big Haas, you get the last thought on this.
Well, first of all, Dutch.
I knew it was going that way.
Not the first thing I thought about. Oh, what are they gonna do with Black Panther? No, that's not what I thought about.
I'm gonna cast the blame on you too. We're an equal opportunity show.
Now, my thing is that I had read the same rumor about Shuri, them killing Chadwick's character off and having Shuri assume the role. And fortunately for me, I kind of had heard rumblings of that before, like Tony said. So I didn't immediately become irate that this is like the first thing that the people at Marvel and all of that are thinking about is how we're going to recast this. Let's have Shuri do it. But I think much like Imran said, you know, you recast, the show must go on as it were.
Yeah.
And you have Shuri assume the mantle or something like that, and then down the road, you know, maybe have him recast and kind of come back as an older Black Panther, you know, like, hey, I passed this down to Shuri, but I have to come back now because something happened with her. And get an older Michael B. Jordan to play where he's like, he's older, but he's not washed. He's not, you know, just done. You know what I mean? So it's still believable that he could assume those kind of active roles.
Oh, Michael B. Jordan Black Panther would be. What if you could bring Killmonger back and then he's the Black Panther? That's
I had actually thought of something like that. I was like, but not being more of a DC comic fan, I don't know. Maybe there's a story like this in there. Is there any time warps or universe warps or anything like that where Killmonger actually, it could have been that they could use Michael B. Jordan in that capacity starting now and say that it was something with Thanos. I don't know.
Maybe
whatever up. It's comics.
You could also say that Killmonger saw the error of his ways, you know,
or the snap brought Killmonger back.
Right. And with this second chance, he's gonna do it the right way.
There you go.
It was a miss snap.
Miss snap. It was a snap. He snapped with this finger.
It was a snip.
He snapped with this finger and not that one. He snapped with this one.
Who snapped with their third finger and their thumb?
That's what I'm saying. That's a Thanos.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you cut your nails a little bit too short and that snap hurts, he kind of recoiled. He didn't commit to the snap because he had just clipped his nails, and that little bit of hesitation that brought
Killmonger's back. Yeah.
There
you go. We just wrote it. There you go, Kevin Feige. Thank you very much. Send us the bill.
Send us our goddamn check, money.
Send us the check.
Make payments payable to
the voice from the underground Patreon. Justin Zwerner says, "All hail King Imran." How is it that you've come on here and observed and you become king of the show?
Justin Zwerner is the best. He says that every time someone joins our Facebook group.
I don't think he knows more than 4 words because that's all he ever says.
Those are the only 4 words he needs to know, people.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
So here we go.
We're in the right order.
We'll do our Wayne and Garth moment. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. All right, let's talk. Let's move from something sad onto something.
Is there anything good this week?
No.
Sorry, Imran. We're gonna go to sports here for a second. But
son of a bitch.
NBA walkout. My biggest just well, Haas, I'll let you frame this for you for the listener if you want to.
Well, if you've been not watching any TV or listen to any radio or anything, in protest of the murder of Jacob Blake.
He's not dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. The attempted murder of Jacob Blake, but he's so damn resilient. He's paralyzed now. Okay. The NBA shut down during the playoffs for a couple of days. Baseball shut down. A few football teams didn't practice, and the NHL, they shut down for a couple of days. That's surprising. And I was like, whoa, people's heads gonna be blowing up like when Clayton Bigsby took his hood off, because the NHL, you know what I'm saying? Show us your face. So
show us your face, brother. Show us your face.
We're not afraid. But it was an amazing moment to me, and I'm sure to many other people who are chocolatey like myself, and allies as well, that you saw sports and the players actually said, you know what? Fuck this shit. We gotta do something, and it's more than wearing t-shirts. It's more than stencils on the court. It's more than banners on the side of the stadium. There needs to be more done, and we're gonna shut this shit down, if even for a little bit, to make that statement kind of hit home a little bit more. And then the NBA, they decided to go back and finish the playoffs, and that was a bone of contention for some people. And at first brush, especially because I was still so kind of emotional about what happened to Jacob Blake, but I was like, nah, fuck that, son. We're gonna keep it real, son. We're gonna shut this shit down. We're not gonna finish the season. Fuck them. But then, the other side of me, my grandmother popped up on the side of me and was like, baby, you should think about that a little bit more. And so I did. And the platform that they have, if they finish out the season, is bigger than what they could do individually if they left to go back and do individual things. Because every time there's a microphone in their face, whether solicited or unsolicited, they have the mic, and they can continue to use that platform to raise awareness and demand some systemic change. And one of the things I've heard repeatedly from various outlets is that behind closed doors, they are really, really, really pushing the league and pushing ownership to use their political cachet to get some of these systemic changes pushed through. So I really hope that is happening, because that's what needs to happen. Throwing money at certain organizations and things like that won't do anything if we don't get the system to start changing itself. So I really hope that's what's going on.
All right, Tony, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I was surprised to see them all walk out, but I was also pleasantly surprised, because I was like, wow, this is a moment, and it's, you're not going to be able to watch Jacob Blake get shot on the news and then an hour later throw on the NBA and just forget about it. They took a stand there, and they're like, no, we're keeping the conversation relevant. We're not going to let you just glorify the Lakers beating the Blazers or something like that. So that was important. I thought that was important. There was a lot of debate amongst even the players, like, should we continue this? Should we not? I've always been an advocate of the fact that I agree that they should have stopped. I totally agree with that. But I think the platform they have now, like Big Haas mentioned, it goes away if they all quit. And I think Iggy and I think Jaylen Brown, I might be wrong on this, they both brought up, there are some other players probably that brought up, they're like, okay, if we stop playing, you guys better all be out there on the front lines doing as much as you can. Otherwise, what are we doing here? So I think it's a smart idea that they keep going. the big thing that I think that came out of this, and hopefully they're able to push it through, is they've asked the owners to help, but the thing that they want to try to change or at least help with is like, how can we do this? What can we do to change things? And they want to address voter suppression. So they've teamed up with the owners, and hopefully they push it through, like I mentioned, but they want to open up all the stadiums as places where people can vote. And I think that is important.
That's a great thing.
And hopefully it goes through. I think there's a few stadiums already that were committed to doing that, and it looks like a few more are going to do it. So hopefully they can get all the NBA stadiums to open up as places people can vote, because the biggest way you can change things, in my opinion, is other than, throwing money at things. And we've seen
it doesn't work.
I don't know if that works or not.
It doesn't.
There you go. It doesn't, according to Big Haas. You have to be able to go in and vote the people in that are supporting the issues that you feel are important. And
but Tony, the thing is, as long as the system is constructed the way it's constructed, no amount of money is going to do anything.
Right.
You have to have people in that are willing to at least try to change the system in whatever little ways they can. And if you get enough people willing to change the system in whatever little increment they can change it, that is how progress is made. Because, like people love to talk about Chicago inner city violence and the myth of black on black crime, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And I often say that the continued presence of violence in these impoverished areas, and we know that where there's poverty, there's higher crime, regardless of race. But the continued presence of violence in these areas is not an indictment of the communities. It's not an indictment of the thousands of organizations that are currently working in these communities. Just think about if they weren't there, how bad it could really be if there weren't so many organizations that are there working. It is a confirmation that without systemic change, in concert with these organizations working and these people in these communities that do care, the vast majority of which that do care about their community and do want to see change, without systemic changes going hand in hand with them, there can be no change, because the system is the umbrella. So you got to change the type of umbrella we're using.
Yeah.
I just want to say one more thing, and I don't know.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, all good. I don't know how it necessarily relates, but I do think that, and it's good that the players protested. It's good that they're coming up with solutions. I think sometimes we put too much pressure on these guys to come up with the solution. At the end of the day, these are ball players, right? Like, they didn't study politics. They didn't study, they didn't study all sorts of ways to reform things. Like, they grew up playing basketball and trying to provide for their families. So whatever solution they come up with, and they've come up with some ideas, and hopefully they work, but at least they're trying, right? And I don't want there to be this, oh, well, then figure it out. No, that's not their job to figure out.
Right.
Their job, what they were trying to do was, let's not distract from the conversation that is going on right now. And I think they did a good job of that.
Yeah, and that's something else we see a lot. I know Mikey's probably seen it. I know I've seen it when you're in conversations with people, and the group of people that don't believe systemic racism exists. They don't believe that racism itself exists. They don't believe that there's a such thing as white privilege or whatever you want to call it. Eventually in the banter, there's always so what should we do then? And I always come back and say, well, you know what? Your ancestors are the ones who created the system. So maybe you guys should start thinking of solutions too. And then they shut up.
Just on that note, actually, there was a poll that I thought was interesting from Twitter that we pulled up on the Sun Times. Broadly speaking, where do you stand on professional athletes sitting out in support of Black lives? 1,400 votes, 73% saying I'm all for it, 17.8% I'm against it, and 8.6% I'm not sure. So we'll leave the 8.6% out. Well, let's assume a percentage of those people just didn't feel like saying I'm against it and putting it out there. So let's say 20% are against it. And it's like they always bring up the same argument about, well, it's the workplace, and then we all saw what they did to Kaepernick, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more when we get to Kyle Rittenhouse in a moment here. But it's just astonishing to me how when these guys are protesting peacefully, somehow that is just as bad as looting.
Well, also their money is always turned against them, right? They'll go,
right.
Well, aren't they so privileged to be able to sit out their job and not get fired because they make millions, right? Like that's
what an uncomfortable spot to be in. That somebody makes more money than you, and now they're saying something you don't like. How uncomfortable?
Right. It's like, oh, look at them. Like how
they don't say that about Trump, though.
Right. How privileged are they that they get?
He's donating his whole salary to to various organizations.
I'm so tired of hearing.
He's a hero. Isn't that crazy?
The president makes what? I don't know. I think it's
400 something. 470.
I don't think
435.
It's 4. Okay, I thought it was like just under 200,000. I might be thinking of a number from the 90s. But so $400,000 a year. You're going to tell me that Obama hasn't given 30 times that amount of money to charity? I don't know this, but I would almost guarantee you that Obama has given.
He's not sending out a tweet. He's not sending out a tweet every time he donates something. You know what I'm saying?
He's like, people are like, oh, he's working for free. Oh, but Obama makes so much money. You think Trump's not going to capitalize on this? There's not going to be 10 books that came out.
Wait a minute, hold on. What do you mean he's not going to capitalize? He's already capitalized.
He's going to have a reality show when this is all over too.
But what about all of the steering of all these events and things like that to his resorts,
his foundations?
Dutch, and how are you going to reality show in jail? They won't let the cameras in.
It might be like California. Or was that California? Or was that Natural Born Killers? Natural Born Killers with Woody Harrelson.
With Woody Harrelson, yeah.
And the hot chick that's like why do I think she's so hot? Juliette Lewis. That's her newest. Yes. Yeah.
Mickey and Mallory are the best.
Yes. She's hot, but you're like, why do I think she's so hot? Because in certain angles, I'm like, but other angles, I'm like, yeah.
my last comment on this though is the only problem I had with this was the Bucks. I mean, they didn't even tell the Magic.
It was autonomous. They just said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, at least have the respect to tell the team you're playing.
You know what I think happened? You know what I think happened? I think they were all ready to go. They thought they could do it, and they went to hit the door, and it was like, "Nah, we can't." I think it was truly a very last minute thing, and that's why the Magic didn't know. And I think I think that you know how it is. You think you're ready to go do something like, hey, I know that as I've gotten older, I'm all ready to go to the club, and I done told my boys I'm gonna be there. I'm going. We're gonna house it up.
Yeah.
And then guess what?
Don't feel right.
I get ready to hit the door, and I be like, I'm gonna go ahead and chill. And it's already late because I'll never get to the club first. They already there, so I hit them up. I'm gonna hang back, but it's late. It's too late. I think that's what happened there.
Tony, as the official jock on the show, what is your thoughts on that piece?
I actually didn't think about that too much, but they did kind of leave their brothers out there hanging.
Yeah.
In terms of with the Magic, George Hill brought up the night before, I think, or maybe even the 2 days before, I forget, and he's on the Bucks. Like, we shouldn't even be out here. I don't know why we're playing.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of rumblings, and I know the Celtics and Raptors, there were reports that coming out that they were thinking about boycotting. I think, kind of like Big Haas, I think they were just like, we are playing for Wisconsin. And
right.
We are a majority black team.
Mm-hmm.
This is our moment. Like, we have to do something. Like, what are we doing out here? We're about to distract from the conversation. So,
and I don't think anybody looked at the Magic in a bad light because they were ready to play. Because hey, maybe the Bucks were going to be there too, but
yeah,
they decided at the last minute to switch it up. And I don't hold any grudges against the Magic for being ready to play that game. You know what I mean? Like, that's not their fault.
They didn't know.
And the one thing I want to add in on this was it shows that there's this growing solidarity where the players are kind of the opinion that if this persists, we will leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't count on us to just like bail you out of whatever shitty situation you put yourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just go.
Yeah.
and then you can deal with all of your own problems. And then, I mean, we'll be fine. We don't need to be out here. We don't need to be your distraction and go out and entertain you.
Well, there's a realization amongst
Right,
these players too that, you know, these owners that they're playing for are probably a lot of Trump supporters.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, what are we
protecting their
doing
money.
here? Yeah. So they're like, what are we doing here? So, you know, you hear LeBron talk about wanting to be an owner. Like, there's just a lot of conversation amongst these guys. They're getting smarter about what's going on.
Right. All righty. Well, any quick thought from you, the NBA fans on here? Who's taking the title? Looks like it's
Start with
be
Imran.
Yeah, Imran. What's your? Well, just say Lakers, Imran.
Lakers? What? I don't know.
He doesn't know what that means. He doesn't even know what you said.
But look, it's I commend them for pausing, and if it didn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. It's a business, but it's also a platform, and they have responsibilities as models. But you guys are all right. Anthony's right. They're not going to solve everything, but at the same time, every time someone asks them a question about the game, they can just turn the conversation, keep the attention on it. It's very interesting to watch on a day-to-day basis. I'll tell you that much. You know, what things go up and what go down. It's always different.
Right. All righty. Well, moving on from that. So we have some other shenanigans that have taken place here in the world the last couple of days. So we got to talk about Kenosha. We didn't talk about this last week. It was really in its infancy. We've talked a little bit already about Jacob Blake, and like the thing that I find irritating about this, and look, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this particular collection of people on the show today, because I'm so fucking tired of these conversations where I have to hear about how Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero, how the guy that he shot was a registered sex offender, which was true. I don't know why he was a registered sex offender. I don't know if he was pissing in front of a school or if it was actually something legitimate.
She was 16, he was 18, and he actually had his.
So it was Romeo. So it was Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, and his compulsory or whatever you call it, mandatory reporting time had lapsed actually. So
okay, so it wasn't the guy.
He wasn't out there, you know, trolling preschools or anything like that. So he wasn't R. Kellyan.
No, well, that's good news.
Yeah,
but
fuck that guy.
It's
but on a personal level.
Here's the thing that it's just like I needed to talk to my friends. You know what I mean? Because these conversations have gotten so toxic, and there's a lot of people on the right who, you know, and I'm not giving the left a pass here because, you know, the left will make it seem like, you know, all these guys that were killed were the greatest guys of all time. Like Jacob Blake was the greatest human being ever born. But the point is, it's not about that.
You know, we don't know because he had a warrant, but he hadn't had his day in court.
But that's the thing is they use the fact that he had a warrant and they did it with George Floyd. They did it with every single guy. They always look for the reason why.
Oh, they're going to find him. They got to put the horns on.
Yeah. And that part I just can't get over. And like, I have a friend on Facebook who's talking about how actually multiple people who are talking about how Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero. And look,
it lets you know what they think a hero actually means.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Have they looked up the definition?
He's raised right. He's a hero. Look, first of all, he was a criminal.
Yeah. He had beat up a woman like a week or so before.
Not only that, I hadn't actually seen. I had seen that, but I wasn't 100% sure if it was accurate. So thank you for elaborating on that. But I had heard how he was raised right, how he's, you know, an upstanding citizen, but he's a criminal the second he walked out on the street with a gun at 17.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, if he hadn't committed a crime, none of this would happen.
Law and order, except when it's our guy.
Yeah.
So, Mikey, how's one of you guys? You know, give the listener. First of all, I know. Well, Mikey, I know you know a little bit about this. For the listener who doesn't know what's happening in Kenosha, we know that Jacob Blake was shot. There was protests afterwards. And then our militia came out to help protect businesses, quote unquote, go.
Yeah, and the police were thinking. Anyway, Mikey, go.
Yeah, there were several different militia groups that this little mass shooter McGillicuddy is what I will call him. I'm not going to give him any kind of praise or credence or even have the respect to say his full name. Mass shooter McGillicuddy. He was supposed to be part of one of those groups to defend, I guess, a friend or family friends.
Like an auto shop, right?
Yeah, a used car lot.
A used car lot.
Yeah.
He got separated from the group, assumed he was under attack, and killed someone, shot and killed somebody. And then whilst running, because the mob had
not a mob. Don't describe him as a mob, though.
And the protesters needed to disarm him because at this point it's an active shooter situation. And on all of their attempts to disarm him, he ended up shooting 2 more people. And then proceeded to just, put his hands up, walk right past the police line. The cops drove right past him and they didn't question him. No, nothing after the fact. And he drove home with his family. His mommy came and picked him up and drove him home, and he slept in his bed that night.
And the thing is, too, is that as he has his hands up, walking by the police line, there are people pointing and saying, he's the one, he just shot people. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Right there. Right there.
Right there. That's the one who's shooting. They just let him walk by, and they go and they start interacting with the protesters, though. And, this guy, he was actually...
He's a child. A child.
He's not a child.
Well,
guess what? They wouldn't get. You know how many 14-year-old black folks are in real prisons right now because they got charged as adults?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying he should go to adult prison, but he is up there with the mind of a child. He doesn't know it. He's an idiot.
Attitudes reflect leadership.
Yeah.
There's a strong thought process right now that he's like Shamasha. He's adamant that he's not going to he's going to be found not guilty, and that everything is self-defense.
Of course. Guess what? I would not doubt it 1 second. Let me get to this point real quick, though.
Okay.
They actually were interviewing him. I forget what outlet it was. And I saw the video, but they were interviewing him, and he was saying, "I'm here protecting this business, and I've got my EMT pack here to help people as well." And the you know how they do the interview, and then the reporter's doing his wrap up. You know what I'm saying? I'm Dick Johnson reporting from Kenosha, blah 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 blah.
Dick Johnson, Freudian slip.
Wait a minute, hold up.
Peter Johnson.
Rest in peace, Dick Johnson.
He died. Yeah, Dick Johnson was a dude who died recently.
That's a real name.
Yeah,
that's a real. I said that on purpose because you know what? I love that dude. Every time he would come on, I'd be like, Dick Johnson.
That's a Chicago
yeah. Is that how you say it too? Okay.
I had a guy used to, this has nothing to do with anything, but I had a guy I used to do business with whose real name in actual life was Richard Peter Johnson. Your parents hated you.
Dick Johnson?
Triple Dick.
Richard
Dick. Peter Johnson.
But the reporter was doing the wrap up, and you hear the shots in the background. The camera plans over. You see Kyle standing over a guy. The reporter runs over. Kyle is jumping around like that. The reporter takes his shirt off and puts it on the guy's head. Kyle runs off. But he had the EMP pack to help people, remember?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Is that
real man of genius?
Is that the justification?
Here's to you, Mr. I talk stuff, and then when the shit goes down, I run away.
How about mommy? Come pick me up.
Is that the justification? Because the one thing I didn't get with people who were defending him is like, okay, why is he wearing the gloves? Is that the justification?
No. The justification for the gloves was he went there to shoot.
Right.
So he had the gloves to prevent gunshot residue being on his hands because he was probably going to ditch that gun.
Yeah, so they couldn't prove he
and he didn't want his fingerprints on the gun.
Right. That's what
and then he's running and he's on the phone. I just killed somebody. And these people are trying to chase him down. And that's when he's shooting. And conveniently, the conservatives that I know, they only show that latter interaction. They don't want to talk about what he did before that because somebody allegedly threw a bag at him, and they were trying to call it a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have to constantly rewrite the story because they have to give him covering fire.
It
first there was a Molotov, and then it was
a plastic
rock,
bag.
and then it was a plastic bag with a brick in it, and then come to find out,
who puts a brick in a plastic bag?
Just throw the brick.
You just throw the fucking brick.
It looked to me like, and it was hard to tell. Like this video, how on earth this was like a Bigfoot photo. I mean, there's like the resolution was shit. And you couldn't make anything out. It looked like somebody set a dumpster on fire. Somebody came and put it out. Now there's people saying it was him. They're saying, no, it's clearly him, but you really can't. There's no way to tell that it's him.
He also, along with his EMT pack, he had a fire extinguisher, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Right. Well, he didn't have the fire extinguisher the whole time. That somebody had a fire extinguisher. We don't know who that was. And they put out a dumpster fire. And
they put out the country?
Yeah, they put out. Yeah, I was gonna say this. I was gonna say this. They put out our show, but then the plastic bag. It appears it was probably a bag full of newspapers that the guy threw lit on fire or something. Hardly a deadly weapon. And no, I'm coming up with that.
You're done.
Yeah, I'm. Where am I getting that from? Because you have two different stories that both have some tangible, plausible reads into them between Molotov cocktail and plastic bag. I've seen people throw lit plastic bags, with newspaper in it, whatever. That is hardly a deadly weapon. But the thing that is escaping a lot of our right-wing friends is that
you said it right the first time.
They are there to antagonize.
Yes, 1,000%.
Right. The same as the Covington Catholic kids. I completely agree that was taken out of context by the media. I'm not saying it wasn't, but they were there to antagonize.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Colin Kaepernick was antagonizing you on television and you said he hated America, and he wasn't even antagonizing, you just because you were antagonized doesn't mean that he intended to antagonize you.
Discomfort is oppression to certain folks, man.
Exactly. And it's like, so Imran, I know you're close by, all you guys, by the way, are in Chicago. You guys are going to have a circle jerk after the show.
We're doing that right now.
It's got to go clockwise though. I don't.
You haven't seen my hands this entire show.
Yes. Have you seen any of our hands?
That's a really fair point. And
if I throw my head back and look like I'm yawning,
I'm getting very scared.
Why do you think my beard is white?
You are fake news.
There's something about Mary and his beard.
Imran, your thoughts. What have you seen going on as a man of color who is no longer of color?
I'm brown on the inside. Really, I am. Believe me. Listen,
You're welcome, Imran.
Yes,
You're welcome,
of course. Yay, Pakistani. Chaz Hubbard. Ever since the George Floyd shooting and the murder and the riots, I have been obsessed with live streams from Minneapolis. Kenosha is a hot spot, but right now it's not just Kenosha. Portland, Detroit.
Yes. Somebody just got shot in Portland too.
So we're starting to see. So these live streams, I'm watching these live streams in the middle of the night. I can't sleep, and they look like scenes from a third world war-torn nation. And I'm like, this shit is happening just like 45 minutes north from where I am. This is unbelievable, the pictures that I'm seeing. And now you got a situation where they got one of his, and then in Portland, we're going to get one of yours, and then it's going to escalate. It's going to keep going back and forth. There's clearly these different factions of things going on. Me, personally, what I see, how can you tell me this isn't the beginning of like a civil war starting? You clearly see it getting set up.
I'm with you.
Which is, it's frightening.
Yes, because if Mango Mussolini loses, then
Mango Mussolini.
That's disrespectful to Mangoes.
I'm sorry.
I was a really good student at the best school. I'm not like a smart guy. Okay.
How about this one? We call him the Tang Tinge Tyrant. How about that?
I can dig it.
All right.
Like
if he wins, if he loses,
he's going to jail.
But I think that might lead to some escalation from butthurt right wingers. Right wingers.
You want to respond to this comment on the board there, Haas? Can you see that?
It blows my mind that the police responded to a shooting and just drove past a kid carrying a rifle. Hey, my man Chris Rock said it best. It's all right if it's all white.
Thank you, Chaz.
So guess what? They see a white guy. Let's go over there. There's some black guys over there. They were probably shooting because Chicago. You know,
This is the thing that astonishes me is that, like, as much as they say they're colorblind, right? But as much as they
you fell for that one, huh?
Try to say, no, not really.
That's just a spot in racism bingo.
I was trying to explain to someone yesterday about like how about like what it is that irritates me, and it's like, look, not only does Rittenhouse get to walk by the police where I forget the 7-year-old boy's name who had a squirt gun or something.
Oh, he was 12. He was 12.
Tamir Rice.
He was 12 and he was killed within 1.2 seconds, ironically enough.
Right.
The car was still moving when the cop got out and shot him.
Remember the movie Higher Learning?
Oh yeah, of course.
And where we were supposed to do this movie, and like there's the scene where Remy, played by Michael Rappaport, is fighting with Omar Epps.
Yep.
In the
after the mass shooting.
And after the mass shooting, and the cops go and they immediately grab Omar Epps.
Yep.
And then Michael Rappaport has the gun, and he's talking about all of this stuff, and the cops are talking him down the entire time. And when he kills himself, they look.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's a movie, right? Mm-hmm. That movie is 20, how many years old? It probably came out in like 1997 or something like that.
20
Yeah, 1990. Yeah, so, but it's like that's what we see. And like, I'm telling these folks, I'm like, look, this is why it's looked at this way. This is why, to you, this is a mob. But to a lot of people of color, the mob is actually the system. And the police are the part of the system that you engage with the most.
Yep.
Right. So they're fighting back to the mob with the mob. They did the same thing to the Black Panthers. And I close my comment on this. Of course, they dismiss everything I said, but I close my comment on this. Yeah. I don't know where it is.
Of course.
There you go.
There you go.
He says
finally has the right time to do one of them, and he fucking blows it.
2 weeks in a row on the live stream, dude. 2 weeks in a row on the live stream. You've missed it.
Inconceivable.
That's how he's on time.
They like what they like to do is they say, as I said, I close my comment with, oh, and not only does all this happen, but you can see at the end of it that if the suspect is a conservative white person, especially, but definitely if they're a conservative or someone who believes in what they believe, you're going to find excuses for them. And if it's not, you're going to find excuses as to why they're dead. Now, does the left do this to a degree too? Yes. But the point of the matter is that the left is not doing it to a degree where they're trying to vilify someone based on something they may have done or ought to have been doing. The left is vilifying Kyle Rittenhouse because Kyle Rittenhouse, this guy right here, went to a protest / whatever you want to call it. They call it mob rule, with a firearm along with other people. He wasn't alone, as a minor, wearing gloves, and then decided that he was so scared of these people because of his own implicit bias that he's going to start shooting them because
he got separated. Death. He got separated.
So
that's why he got scared.
His little defense got wet.
That's why little kids are not supposed to have AR-15s. That's why they're not supposed to be out past curfew. That's like there's 100 reasons why he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. But they don't bring that up because, oh, I did some digging on the guy whose bicep he tore off of his body with a 5.56 round.
Yeah, and I found out that he wasn't a perfect human being. You know, the Bible says, you guys are Bible people, right? Christians?
Well,
it is by
what?
I'm talking to the right wing.
Oh,
okay.
I think it's keeping my table level right now.
I'm sorry.
I think that guy down there is Buddhist.
Yeah. All people are in need of grace, is what the Bible says. Okay. Quran says a lot of similar things, right, Imran? You know, you've got
maybe not in English.
All people are are imperfect and need some salvation from God to do it. The Bible specifically says it is by grace you have been saved, not by works, that no man can boast. But they refuse to apply that when it comes to any mistakes that are made by people who are of their own ideology. And the fact that they're making this kid a hero, Imran just said a second ago that we're looking at a civil war. Guess what? It's not the mob who started this. You guys, the Republicans, you're the ones who elected a far-right candidate, not the Democrats. They didn't elect anyone far left. In fact, Bernie tried to run, and he's not even that far left. But even the DNC was like, oh, no, you're too far. We want someone moderate. The Republicans could have chose Marco Rubio or John Kasich or Ted Cruz. They chose Trump. We are seeing a reaction to Trump and his rhetoric. This is what you fucking wanted. It's your fucking fault. And guess what? Now, a lot of these protests that are going to go on, they're going to bring armed guards with them.
Yep.
And now you're going to have a real
Don't
fucking
fuck around,
problem.
Crew. And here's the thing is that, Trump, I can't believe I actually said his name, but that guy didn't. I
know you love me. You love me, Big Hussein.
He didn't create this. This was there.
Yeah, he just opened
the door. Here's the thing is that, and I'm gonna lean into the camera and say this.
Ooh.
Listen.
I don't know if we can handle this.
Listen.
Zoom in.
This was not created by Trump. Yes, it was exacerbated by Trump. But this has always been there. This has always been there, people. And the thing is this. Me too. Have experienced this and seen this on our levels for generations. Okay? My father, my grandfather, my mom, my grandmother, and on back and on back and on back. We've always seen this. The advent of technology, the advancement of cell phones and things like that, the media, the 24/7 news cycle is not creating these things that we're seeing. That has always been there. It's just now being recorded and reported. And you guys have to understand that and stop trying to scapegoat the media. Don't scapegoat the media. They're just showing you what's happening out there. And they're showing you what we've seen and we've experienced for generations. And as soon as you realize that, either you have to be apathetic and don't care, or you have to say this is wrong and we need to do something about it. And if you really want change, stop talking about the fruit and uproot the tree.
Damn.
Have a scoop of ice cream after.
I put the ice cream in the freezer, man. I'm done with that. I'm watching my
He's got a special freezer just for ice cream within arm's reach.
Now, Mikey, you were just here. You know what I have to my right here.
Freezer
you were just here this week.
Meat locker?
Ice cream and gun.
No, I've got a little mini fridge down here with a freezer in it.
We'll do the humidor in a second, but just real quick, Imran, speak to after 9/11. The way that even if they weren't Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, people that, the way that they were treated in this country.
It was, to me, it was kind of hilarious because you would see Sikh guys catch some shit. And me, I'm like, you fucking idiots. This is the wrong race. It's the wrong religion,
country.
Wrong country. You're way off. If you're going to be racist, at least be accurate. Yeah, goddamn. So, and me, at this point, I realized why I had got vitiligo. The day 9/11 happened, and I suddenly looked like a white guy and not a Pakistani Muslim immigrant. I was like, oh, snap. So I feel bad because I think I escaped a lot of the flack I would have got had I looked the way I was supposed to.
If you threw on a turban, dude, it would have.
That's all. And once he got my name. But you know what I've noticed?
Yes.
If you look at history, every about 60 to 80 years, there's a giant social shifting revolution. So you had the Civil War, right? 1860s. That changed a lot of things. You fast forward to the late 60s. Malcolm X said then, this country's a powder keg. It's ready to explode. And same applies today. We're another 60 plus years away, and I feel like we're on the precipice of another huge revolution, but it's shit changing. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm reliving like the 68 Civil War movement. I loved reading about it in history.
Civil rights movement.
Civil rights movement. I keep saying Civil War. I love reading about it. I just never thought I would live through it while there's a pandemic and double hurricanes and all this other shit happening all at the same time.
All these great people dying too.
Yeah. There's that. There's that picture. Did you see the picture of Chadwick Boseman and Kobe Bryant? And you're like, fucking.
Oh my god, dude, that one was too much. That one was too much.
Yeah.
So soon. So I feel like something's gonna pop, man. It's popping up across the country, and a powder keg is ready to explode hard, big, real big.
Paul,
Tony, you haven't spoken a while. Tony, you got any? I know that you only had a limited amount of time. Are you good still?
We're good.
Here.
We can keep going.
So let's go. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So my last thing on this is that we've got as a country. Look, I believe that at some point in time we need to do some stuff to bring us back together. I truly believe that, but it's going to take a concerted effort from both sides to do this. And right now, I would not be shocked at all if this is going to get way worse before it gets better.
All true change is like that, man. That's what happens.
And that's the thing is like these people are afraid of these mobs and mob rule and all that type of stuff.
Protesters.
Not one person has talked in these mobs has talked about mob rule. Mm-hmm. Not one person has talked. They've talked about making changes to government, but not one person has spoken about anarchy.
Yeah. But they're anarchists though.
Or socialism for that matter. Yes, they're talking about some social programs.
But that doesn't make
like
you a
healthcare.
socialist.
Yeah, you don't like social programs, stay off the road, don't call the cops. Okay? Because
don't call the fire department either.
Yeah, and don't don't collect Social Security. With that being said,
military
or the military. Yeah, don't let the military fight for you, of course, but these guys don't. See, that's the other thing is these militias, they view themselves as a militia group that is like law enforcement. Like they've given themselves a promotion to
they're the new slave patrols.
Oh yeah, they wrote to the Kenosha Police Department, like the head,
and they told them not to come.
Yeah, they were like, we see that you guys need help. We're gonna come. Like, just give us the word. We got 3,000 people armed.
There was one officer that was like, yeah, great. Come on down. We need, thank you so much.
They just want to look cool with their weapons. They're not protecting anything.
The official response was, though, don't come.
Yeah.
So wait, can I ask you one question
about channels
about Rittenhouse? Right. So this kid, he grows up learning how to fire weapons in a family that has these values and is showing him what's right or wrong. Part of me is like, how is this different than what like ISIS and Taliban do with the kids that they recruit into and arm them and show them how to shoot and show them who the enemy is and who to use the weapon.
It's funny you said that. I'm not sure if I can find this or not, but there's I follow someone on Twitter who has, I probably won't be able to find it in time. I'm not even gonna look, but the guy's picture above his profile is there's a picture of a white girl, blonde hair, pretty girl with a Bible, an American flag, and a gun. Right next to, juxtaposed with a picture of a woman in hijab, with a Quran, and a gun, and a Palestinian flag.
Yeah, behind the same thing.
One of them, and it says, "Please explain the difference."
Right.
Look, one person's freedom fighter is another person's terrorist. You just got to figure out what side you're on, I guess.
So with all the little mass shooter McGillicuddies now praising him,
yes, this is a problem.
All the other ones.
He's a hero. Remember that now. Him and the Covington Catholic kid and the family from St. Louis who walked out on their yard. That's their heroes now.
It's a generation of kids growing up like
that's
this.
Their only claim. That's their only qualification to speak at the RNC.
God, Kyle Rittenhouse is pissed that this didn't happen last week because he would have been speaking.
He would have been a keynote
live from Kenosha County Jail.
So the thing is now, the next Unite the Right, instead of tiki torches and khakis,
they'll be out there in their full paramilitary gear.
It's going to be Greenwood all over again.
Also, have you noticed these small towns like Kenosha, Ferguson, Portland? They've got military-grade armored weapons. They are militarized up the wall. Is there any reason for Kenosha, Wisconsin, to have a fleet of armored vehicles with a giant machine gun turret?
And that is why That is what defund the police is about.
They don't need that.
That's what it's about. It's not about taking cops off the street. It's about taking them out of these big ass you give them toys like that. We were all kids.
Yeah.
You get a new toy.
You're gonna use it.
What do you want to do? You want to use it. You want to play with it.
This is
all you need is some other excuse.
Exactly. And this is a great way to pull it into pop culture, because we like to do that when we can. Watchmen. Right? Like, look at the beginning of Watchmen when the police officer pulled over the guy with the Rorschach mask
and the cabbage.
And
he had to ask permission for the gun to get released.
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, is that tense?
Now, in that case, it cost the guy his life, or he got.
Well, I think that was purposeful too. That was purposeful too, because well, I'm not going. Anybody that hasn't seen Watchmen, I'm not going to give it away.
No, if they haven't seen it by now, spoiler alert. Play us the spoiler alert, Imran.
I don't have my soundboard played.
Oh, you asshole! Spoiler alert, you fox!
It's rude to bring your soundboard on another show. That's just how
I would do it.
rate.
I would do it to you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, see, because
I'm an asshole. Because I'm an asshole.
Pause.
But go ahead, Imran. Walk us through what they did in Watchmen.
Well, it's in the future in the Watchmen world, and the system. So, man, David Lindelof with this show guessed a lot of things: cops, the masks, the anonymity, and so in this alternate reality, if you think you need to pull your weapon, you have to call in and prove that your life is in danger, while a dispatcher releases your gun, and by that time, of course, it's gonna be too late. But again, is this a possible future that could actually happen? That show, I was embarrassed that I learned about the Tulsa massacres from this show. It blew my mind.
I called my wife about that.
I was like, I can't believe I didn't know this. They buried this so hard. What a stain, and they just buried it.
And that is one of the shallow graves.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If that is one of the shallow, because if you don't know about Central Park, that's a medium-sized grave.
Well,
right
and then Chicago 1919 race riots also were around the same time, and there's some crazy
Greenwood, Rosewood.
Yeah. All the woods. Yeah.
And the point is that he had, remember Panda, right? He had to call and ask Panda, and Panda's making him ask all these questions. So it's like, is something like that something that you guys think would work?
No. No.
It's a system. I don't know how good.
So police should have, because the problem is the police resort to lethal firearms first.
Why don't we do some modeling? Well, here's the thing. We've so romanticized guns in our culture, that it would be hard to model some of the European cultures. and bless you.
There you go. Sorry.
It would be hard to model.
There's a mute button, right?
I missed and I clicked my own face and it did nothing.
No, don't click on your face. No, that's not.
Pause. But it would be hard to model the law enforcement systems of some other countries that don't have guns.
Yeah, it's amazing and it's fun.
But the thing is that they have not romanticized gun culture,
right,
to the point that we have.
If we did that
here, if we did that here, all of those gun nuts who weren't in law enforcement and were, 2 sandwiches short of a picnic, they would see that as an opportunity. These militia groups would they would see this as an opportunity. So I don't know what we can do here, because and it's a beast of our own creation. We have romanticized gun culture. Get a gun
before.
Get a gun in that kid's hand as soon as you can. Some cultures, some segments of the culture are just like that.
Where we are now,
by itself, that's not a bad thing. But when you
no,
with an ideology at the same time,
exactly. It's all about how you nurture that aspect. And if you're putting that, you need this gun because the Jews do this, you know what I mean, and we're gonna have to be ready for when the Jews take over, or when the blacks take over, or when the freaking Southern brown folks come, you know what I mean? Then you're creating this toxic type of environment around the gun. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, if somebody comes in this house that means to do us harm, this is what you do.
Dude, the open carry law in Wisconsin is wild also, because we would drive up there to go to Door County and go to vape shops. And I remember going.
That's why I got married.
Oh, really? Door County.
Jacksonport.
Oh, yeah. Egg Harbor, whatever.
Yeah.
But I went in this vape shop and this dude just has a giant revolver on his hip. And this was like years ago. And I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
It's a little surprising to see it.
That's like when I went down to Houston. You know, there's a bunch of people just walking around with guns.
I'm gonna say it.
I'm gonna go ahead.
I'm gonna say it.
Don't. No, I'm just kidding. Go for it.
Repeal the Second Amendment and start over again.
Oh, snap.
Here comes the mob.
He said she ain't got no nipple. No, for real?
I don't care about your elbow.
I am pro 2A.
I know.
With sensible stuff. So.
But here's the thing. I think they should repeal the Second Amendment, and I think they should make everybody earn that privilege back. And if you can prove that, if you want to take firearms training, if you can hit targets, if you can break it down and clean it and do everything, if you have if you have the facilities to keep the gun safe, if you know what I'm saying, if you have this track record of being a responsible adult, then yes, you should have a firearm. But I don't think.
What about the psychological
McGillicuddy should be able to just run around with guns?
No, I think that
we're too loosey goosey right now.
I think that periodic, regular psychiatric evaluations for gun owners,
I agree,
would be conducive, because yes, a dude who just got married to his high school sweetheart with the white picket fence, they got a son on the way, and everything is great. He's of a mental aspect of, okay, he'll be fine. But 7 years later, when he walks in on his wife with the damn next door neighbor, and the kid is 8-10 years old, and the kid is smoking weed, and he loses his job, and the car breaks down.
Better not be a black car. Better not be a black car.
So then he might not pass that evaluation.
Yeah, that should be a recheck, a red
baseline, and then it should be every 6 months.
Yeah,
you gotta go and hey, I got my evaluation today, and you go and you take your 2 hours and you take a test and you talk to somebody, and then they say it's like a parole hearing. You know what I mean?
Something of that nature. I don't know exactly what. I don't think ripping down the Second Amendment is the way to go.
I'm literally spitballing.
No, I don't
like that.
I'm with you. I don't think ripping down the Second Amendment is the way to go, but I do think the Second Amendment allows for too many loopholes. And number two, it's also mistranslated because it says a well-regulated militia,
right?
Not a well-regulated.
People call themselves militia groups.
Yeah, but we didn't have an army when that was written. So,
but that wasn't that militia meant to defend from a tyrannical government and not people
or a foreign invader. But it's all what you look at as a tyrannical government. They'll say, oh, well,
foreign and domestic,
socialists.
Sounds like it's a little flawed. Yeah. Maybe so flawed that we should get rid of it.
A lot of holes in it.
We're gonna shut up. Hey, where's the mute button for Mike? All right, let's get started with everyone's favorite segment of the show.
Welcome to the Humidor with Big Haas. Find out what Haas is puffin' and drinking today. If you try his suggestion and you die, that is natural selection, and the VFU podcast is not responsible for you being weak effing sauce. Now, the one, the only, Big Haas.
I'm not on drugs.
I nailed it.
Big Hussein, what are you drinking? What are you fucking smoking on this video edition of Voice from the Underground?
Well, first, let me say that
this
is my first time hearing the music, actually.
I believe you've met my fitness consigliere.
I'm your cigar consigliere right now. And I didn't know the music was that damn smooth. Shout out to my cousin for the voiceover.
See, that's what happens when you don't listen to your own podcast.
I was about to say, how'd you not know?
I feel like I tried to listen to a few, and it just sounds so. I sound so weird. I sound so weird. I
don't like what these guys talk about. You know, I'm not a big fan of the hosts.
Your voice in your head is not the voice that you hear.
No,
and that
you are a weird sounding guy.
It sounds so weird.
Yeah, you're not sexy sounding at all. I'm not intimidated.
No, I'm not sexy at all. I'm funny. That's how I got married twice. But I'm okay. So I got a package of number ones, Cigar Aficionado, Cigar of the Years from I think 2015 on.
Good year.
And today you get, I got 10, so you get two of each year from 2015 to 2020. Well, 2019. Anyway, I am smoking on the number one Cigar Aficionado rated number one from 2015, the My Father Le Bijou 1922 Torpedo. And it's fucking good. It's fucking good. It's a medium to full cigar. The wrapper is a Habano Escuro, the wrapper. And it's a dark chocolate type color. And the filler and the binder are from
Nicaragua.
yes.
He did it. He did the thing.
He did the thing.
You're gonna love my nuts.
Speaking of nuts, there's a little bit of nuttiness in this cigar.
Pause.
You're gonna love my nuts.
Look at my African American over here.
This is a box pressed torpedo. I don't know why. I've said this before. I'll say it again. There's something about box pressed cigars. I really enjoy them, and I kind of like the torpedo. Now,
teacher. This is student number one. I was here a couple episodes ago. What, pray tell, is a boxed press? Could you go into further details about a boxed?
All right. The price is wrong, bitch.
Yeah, the press is wrong.
So, a box press cigar, most cigars are rounded. So it's like a circular shape for the cigar. But a box press, it has a little bit of edginess to it, a little bit of squareness to it. It's still rounded at the edges, but there's flatness to it on the sides here.
Yes.
And I don't know what I would have to really do a lot of research to figure out, and it might just be a personal preference, but I enjoy the box press cigars a little bit more. And what I did, full disclosure, what I did today is I did a toothpick punch, or a match punch, because I could not find a cutter down here in the basement, and that is a damn shame because I always have cutters everywhere. I have cutters. There. Cutters and lighters are everywhere in this house, and I don't have a cutter down here. I've got the table lighter. I've got matches. I've got matches on top of matches.
Nail clippers? I got nail clippers everywhere. You could have used that.
You know? But I used the match stick and I made 4 punches around the side of the cigar. Right up toward the
looks like a birthday candle.
Teacher, why would you punch the hole in the side of the cigar like that in strategic fashion?
Well, I went for 4 holes so I could get a better draw. Pause. Yes. Now the draw on this is a little tight. Pause. So that means pre-pause, and I would have to suck a little bit harder when I
pre-pause.
You can't pause before.
Oh yes, you can. Damn it!
This is the kind of thing that
just coming.
tickles my balls.
Pause. If you know it's coming, pre-pause.
Tickles my pause.
What are we talking about here?
I put 4
holes.
I put 4 holes in, not 3.
4 holes.
I put the extra hole in there. Yes, because I felt like, because I was just kind of feeling around here on the
You're feeling the holes.
I was feeling the firmness. I was feeling the firmness of the cigar, and I'm like, "Oh, this draw might be a little tight." So I'm gonna put 4 holes
feel like
in
an
here,
avocado,
so I could and not ripe one.
It's a sexy torpedo cut on there.
the four holes improve the draw for me. Okay. And also it serves another purpose as to not superheat the tobacco as I'm puffing. You know, sometimes if you have to pull real hard and you don't have enough ventilation in the cigar, you're gonna superheat the tobacco and it'll burn on you and it won't taste good. Pause. So I experienced puffing on a cigar before I had my beverage, which this is a first. This is a voice from the underground first when I get to the beverage. Ooh. So please stay tuned. Don't touch that dial just yet. Oh, I've got some dark chocolate, some raisin, like I said, some nuttiness to it. Pause. There's a little bit of
I drink and I know things.
Yes. There's a little bit of sweetness to it. And recently added to the palate for me was the hint of leather. I get a little bit of that as well. Now, on to the pairing. Now, I had some ice cream earlier, but I wasn't really puffing a cigar while I was eating the ice cream, so I can't really speak to that interaction. But I'm sure that the sweetness of the ice cream brought out some sweetness in the cigar. But a first in Voice from the Underground Hostas Humidor history, I am drinking wine.
What?
With my cigar.
What?
Yes. This dude I know came through the crib last week.
Sounds handsome.
And he brought, well, I don't know about him, but his fiance is nice. But
word.
He brought a wine for the house, actually for my wife, but she's not too big on wine. So I said I'll pop it first and let you know what it's like. So he brought the 19 Crimes Snoop Cali Red.
Oh, well, get out of here. Oh, Snoop's on the bottle. No.
Yes, Snoop is on the bottle.
Full screen.
What kind of red?
Full screen it. It's a Cali Red.
Dog.
It is a California red blend.
Yes, California red blend. Now,
what's the THC level in there?
19. I wish there was a THC.
All right, show that again. Now you're solo.
All right.
That should be high in THC.
Wow, yippee yo, yippee yay.
19 Crimes. Hey, send me my money. 19 Crimes is actually
what the shizzle? I ain't sending you shizmizzle.
It's an Australian.
You know the name of the game. My wine shows you.
That's terrible. And the name 19 Crimes is an homage to the people, the British citizens that were sent to live in Australia and basically develop it. And to be eligible to be sent to Australia, you had to have committed one of these 19 crimes.
Pulling up the list right now.
And either you go to Australia,
wonder what these were,
and serve in Australia, or you're sentenced to death. So who's gonna say no? Hang me! I don't want to go to Australia. But I bet you when they got there and they saw them big ass spiders, they were probably like, damn, I should have took the hang.
And snakes.
Yes. So
sharks.
They have collaborated with Snoop Dogg. This is their first US release. Okay. And they also donated $100,000 as part of the collaboration to the NAACP legal fund. Okay. And when I take a sip, there's a sweetness to it, and
Mikey's enjoying it as much as you are.
little bit smoky, and believe it or not, there's a pinch of a chocolatey taste to it. Now I don't know if that is coming from the cigar, and it's just was left on my tongue. Pause. And that's what I'm tasting, and it just enhances with the wine, or it came from the wine itself. But it's actually pairing pretty nicely.
Teacher.
Yes,
student number one again.
Okay.
I too have had the Cali Red.
Yes.
And I would just like to. Did you catch the hints of oak in the aftertaste?
You know something? It's a little smoky. I couldn't pin down if it was oak, cedar, maple, or whatever. But it does have a little smoke on the backside there. Pause.
I believe that from the barrels.
Yes,
the barrels themselves give a
little smoke on the backside.
Little smoke on the backside. They give a distinct flavoring to the wine itself.
Yes. See, and student number one, you're actually teacher number one right now because I am not a wine dude. So
welcome to my laboratory.
This is the first time I've had wine in maybe 10 to 15 years. And I've had, and Dutch knows this, I've had cigars with just about every beverage you could think of. I've had cigars with absinthe. I've had cigars with water. I've had cigars with soda.
50-50 squirt.
That's like 50-50.
Yeah.
You know, 50. Hey, shouts to my granddad, 50-50. You know? So I like it a lot. It pairs well. I actually would probably drink some more of this. You know, I read some reviews a couple of reviews as we were talking a little bit because I didn't want to taint my vision of it by reading the reviews before. So I read some after I started drinking it, and some people say it tastes like shit. But I mean, it may just be my nearly virgin wine palate, but it tastes okay to me. But you know, you like what you like your cigars. On the bless you. On the Hasselmeter, and for those watching and listening, if you haven't heard the Hass's Humidor before, the Hasselmeter is an homage to the Source magazine. It's 1 out of 5 leaves instead of 1 out of 5 mics. And if you're not familiar with the Source,
too bad.
Slap yourself. But 5 is the best. 5 mics in the Source when they reviewed an album was an instant classic. 1 is some trash. You just used the CD as a coaster. But I'll give this about a 4.35. You know, it's not as flavorful as I like. I like a fuller cigar. Pause.
That full feeling.
It is definitely a cigar with smoke again. It is definitely a cigar.
It's very robust.
And for a medium full cigar, I think that a novice could definitely smoke this and enjoy it, and it wouldn't give them too much of a buzz. You know what I mean? Especially if they're paired with a whiskey or bourbon or alcohol or other type of alcohol. So.
It's tapered for his pleasure.
You got another question?
This is student number 2. Actually,
you sound just like
you brothers. You related?
We're all in the same fraternity.
This Emmett Trucker. Emmett Trucker here.
We're all in the same fraternity. But the student number 1 is up with student number 2. I found the list of 19 crimes.
These are interesting.
Stealing roots, trees, or plants, or destroying them.
That'll get you.
Oh, these are the
the 19
crimes. Okay, I didn't
stealing fish from a pond or river.
It seems excessive for fish theft. I love this one. Impersonating an Egyptian. That means the entire Bengals chick group needs to be sent. When they did Walk Like an Egyptian, they all need to be sent to Australia.
Australia.
Or the Bengals.
The Bengals.
Because I thought you said the Bengals, and their crimes are worse than that. All of those people get money.
Or the Cincinnati Bengals.
Whoa, bigamy?
Trying to get married while you're married. I had to look up what bigamy was.
Who the hell would want to do that? But anyway.
Is bigotry on there or no?
No, that's fine.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Totally legal. Racism, fine. Yeah.
I misread bigamy for pygmy. I was like, pygmy.
They just sent all them pygmies over there for real.
Yeah, what the hell?
That was the first episode,
sir.
That was the first episode of Black Mirror. The pig fucker.
Some of these make sense, and some are just like, really, for stealing mail? You send me to Australia?
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna steal the votes.
Yeah.
So everybody, they were
setting
right.
fire to Blair Underwood. What?
No, too underrated.
Grand larceny, theft above the value of 1 shilling, and petty larceny.
Oh,
under
when I first read this, when I was first reading your comment there, I was like, grand larceny. I was like, oh, is he talking about the larceny whiskey I have up here? And then I kept reading. I was like, oh, he's talking about the 19 crimes. I see.
That might be the name of the show, the 19 crimes.
Australia is a country full of people who are just impersonating Egyptians at the wrong time.
Here's also what's funny. Britain loves to do that because guess how America was populated a lot too.
With Chinese help.
I'm saying how it was populated. They sent a lot of criminals over here.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can go to America as an indentured servant.
Yeah.
Or you can die by hanging.
Well, the British did that with Guyana. They just took a bunch of Indian people from India, and they're like, "You want a better life? Come with us." And then they were like, "Tricked you. Now you got to work here for nothing." And
Just kidding.
Standard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a good joke?
The British are like, this works every time.
Yes, got them again.
Either you steal them or you trick them. It works.
Watermen carrying too many passengers on the Thames, if any drowned.
Whoa.
Okay.
Just if you have a gondola,
so if you got a party
someone
boat,
drowns,
if you got a
to
party
Australia.
boat, if you got a party boat, then you're in trouble.
What do you got, a bottle of wine on that boat? Someone could drown.
Right.
End up in Australia. What do you think about your future, sir?
Now I'm going to give.
Molested by a dingo.
I'm going to give a rating for the wine. I'm going to put it on the grape-o-meter.
Please
I'll
do.
put it on the grape-o-meter. So of my limited experience with wine, I'll give this three grapes.
3 out of 5.
I'm gonna hook you up. I'm gonna hook you up.
Snoop is going to come after you for that one for sure.
3 grapes is good, man. It's his first one. You can only get better. I can't say he knocked it out of the park.
There's several different ones.
You crazy?
There's several different ones that he has, but the store I went to, I knew that it was available, but that was the last bottle on the shelf. Everybody wants to try it, but there's a Pinot, there's a Cab, there's a Pinot Noir.
Whoa, black porn?
I tried, but it didn't work.
In New York, that's what they call porn.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you talk to a wine novice.
The cork should be just full of weed so you can smoke it when you're done with the bottle. Like, what a missed opportunity.
Oh, wait.
Show him the cork. Show him the cork.
Yes. Full screen.
Full screen him. Let me see this cork.
Shot. Pause.
All right, here you go.
Sorry about that. Check out the cork.
Is this face on there? What's on there?
Bruh.
Is that not cool as shit?
Wow.
Oh my God, he is on there.
What a narcissist. He's like Trump Jr.
He's everywhere. I like that cork though.
Yeah,
fun.
I'll give you $5 for that cork.
And it says 19 crimes on the cork. It's a pretty good fucking print too. That's cool as shit.
Yeah,
it is cool.
That was a pleasant surprise.
I'm a bottle saver. Like I've got the bottle from my Angel's Envy sitting over here somewhere. Like cool bottles, I'll save them. So I'll probably save this, at least the cork, because that's just.
I'm gonna make sure that Haas has more wine to try in the future, and I'll get him some of my favorites. That was just the Snoop one, so I was like, that's a good gift.
Yeah.
Snoop wine.
I can just trying to get laid.
It's a sneaky way to get a black guy to drink wine. Give him one with Snoop Dogg on it. Give him the Tupac.
You know, down here in my wine cellar, we have a lot more.
We got a lot of wine down here in the cellar.
Why don't you come down and take a look?
Got some popsicles down in the basement.
Take your shirt off if you want.
I know it's a little hot down here.
Hey there, Muscle Leon. Do you want some wine?
Bring your fat ass back here.
Get your ass back in that closet.
I got some Spider-Man comic books down there too.
If you said,
I'm there.
If you said Power Man, I might have.
I got some Luke Cage for you.
Oh, Luke's in a cage. Oh shit!
All right,
It's
so
a
another
cookbook.
successful edition of the Humidor. Real quick as we wrap up, got a couple of quick things I want to bullet point on. Did you guys see by chance? Just kind of curious because this kind of flew under the radar. This story that they recovered. This from CBS. U.S. Marshals say they found 39 missing children in Georgia during a 2-week operation.
Saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, like the right is talking about this a lot. They're saying the news hasn't covered it. This is obviously false because the news is covering it. But I guess 39 these missing children were considered to be some of the most at risk and challenging recovering cases in the area. High risk factors such as victimization of child sex trafficking, exploitation, abuse, physical abuse, and mental and other conditions. It was made to seem like these kids were all kidnapped and missing, which was absolutely not true. But what it was they basically saved 39 kids in Georgia who were in really bad situations. So I think it's a good story.
They were being abused in the home, stuff like that.
Stuff like that, yeah, or were some possibly could have been exploited children.
But it wasn't like a massive.
It wasn't like 39 in one like shipping container.
They made it seem like there was a school bus full of kids who was abducted by Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's
what I had seen some postings from the right. Dutch, you know the usual suspects when it comes to that on my Facebook.
Well, yeah, it was Kamala Harris was the ringleader for sure. Her and Beyonce,
100%.
So I did want to touch on that. Also, as we
reiterate how false it was that it
was
like a massive ring or something like that.
No, it was a good thing, but it wasn't the thing that they said it was. So let's just put it that way.
All right.
They lied
real quick. Oh my God!
Get out. It's not true.
What?
So Jock and Nerd podcast. One thing that I want to touch on here real quick was I was shocked to see that New Mutants was released 2 days ago. What the fuck are they thinking, Tony and Imran, with releasing a movie? Like, they're not going to make shit on this, and they've held this movie up for how long?
It's like 3 or 4 years.
3 years. It was made 3 years ago. It made like $4 million over the weekend, but like the whole box office made like 7 million. Like this is all new numbers. There's no precedent for this coming back. What these numbers should be.
They put it out because they've delayed it for so long, and they don't really. Disney owns it. They bought it before Fox originally made it, and then they bought Fox, and this has been.
Is this on Disney Plus?
No, it's on movie theaters. They just wanted to get rid of. They just wanted to put it out there. So
are you sure it's not on Disney Plus? Because I really think I just scrolled past that earlier today.
It might be now. So this is what I think is going to happen. This is the last Marvel Fox movie. I think they put it in the theaters to now quickly in a few days be like, oh, it's on streaming now, to cut their losses and let people buy it online. But contractually, it had to play in a theater before it could get to streaming. Was the one issue.
They put Mulan out, it looks like, on streaming in a couple days. That'll be in September. That's surprising.
September 4th, you'll be able to, for $30 extra, you'll be able to watch that.
Oh, you have to pay them $30 to watch
on top
Mulan?
Of the subscription. It's $30, and then you have the movie forever as long as you're a subscriber. But the movie will probably be released to subscribers in December anyways. So you can wait till December, or you can pay $30 and watch it right now.
I'm balling. I'm made of money. Take it.
Yeah, take it. Well, it's $30. Well, I'm gonna give them $30 because I want them to put Black Widow out the same way instead of the theaters. Put it on Disney.
It has to be a provable thing that works, or else we're not going to get shit else.
Exactly.
So
I think
we
Mulan
have to
will make
provide
money.
the proof of concept has to be there.
What do you guys think about this? Like, how many of these movies that are out there? I don't know, Tony. What do you think? The ones that are already made, like Five Bloods, are they just going to go to stream service? Or are they going to? Can you even put a movie in the theater right now and expect to make money for the next 6 months?
No, you can't. I mean, most of these are delaying, so they're all going to try to delay as much as possible. But if that doesn't work, they're going to put them on streaming. You're going to see, especially if Mulan is successful, and I think it will be. You're going to see streaming services add on these new release movies for
new titles.
Yep. You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay a premium.
Mulan will be popular because you got all these kids, especially my son starts homeschool tomorrow.
Yep.
They're at home. What are you gonna do?
It's a royal pain in the ass doing homeschooling right now. Let me tell you, it's like, especially with two little kids.
It wasn't super bad. The tail end of last year. I'm interested to see how he does this year, of course, because it's a new grade and everything. I mean, last year, he had really established a bond with his teacher and all that good stuff and everything. So when he went to homeschooling, he was still, kind of talking to her and stuff like that. So, but now he's got a new teacher and, so I don't know how that's going to work with him establishing that bond and things like that. And then the socialization aspect as well. But luckily he's got a lot of kids his age that live around us. So we're good.
Can we just make a movie about 2020?
No one would believe it.
Yeah, you can't write this shit. What happened to the murder hornets? Wasn't that supposed to be a thing?
This is a time capsule year. You put this on as many resources as possible. You put it on the cloud. You put 2020 on the cloud. You put it on a Blu-ray. You put it on everything and put it in a time capsule so that the future can watch this.
They won't believe it.
No, there's no way all this shit happened all at once. You guys are pulling my
did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself this year? That was early this year, right?
Was that this year?
It was 2019.
Yeah.
It was 2019 when he got arrested, but I think it might have been 2020 when he killed himself.
Might have been this year, early.
I'm waiting for what's her name, Giselle, to kill herself.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Giselle, right? Well, I don't think that Epstein killed himself.
August 10th, 2019.
Yeah.
Well, look, tying us back to streaming and Chadwick Boseman, you were asking about Netflix. It may be a possibility in the future where you have to pay for a big Netflix movie. You know, you get these movies free, you may be paying. But Chadwick Boseman, his last movie is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It is completed and it is coming out on Netflix probably this year or next year. So there will be one more Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, I think he made 7 movies while he was
he was in a What If too.
Oh, he did the voice for. Why haven't they put that out? That's all animated. What are they waiting for? You could have got that shit done.
I don't know. They need content.
They need content.
Last thing, real quick, The Boys releases in a couple days.
Oh, I forgot.
Yes, yes. So.
If Mikey's screen goes blank and it all looks gray, we know what happened.
Is that the title of this episode of the podcast?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know what the episode is going to be. But all right, so I guess everybody's excited about that, right? So
yeah, I love The Boys. The
Boys is great.
So I'll tell you what,
Homelander.
the 5 people on this show,
the 5 Bloods.
Now Amazon, that is Amazon, so they're going to release it weekly, right?
Yeah. Well, the first 3 episodes are coming out, and then
is that how they're doing it?
Yeah, it's coming out weekly. The first 3 episodes will come out at once, and then it's every week. And then there's like a special movie with Carl Urban's Butcher that like fills in what happens between last season and
really.
Yes.
All right. So when that
you can't binge it all at once. You're gonna have to wait weekly.
So when that's over.
Yeah,
we'll come back and we'll do another show
for sure
and just talk about The Boys and something fun for once. Yeah,
of course. Get a non-stick coating for my laptop for that episode.
Yeah, of course, there'll end up being some other bullshit that happens in the world, and we'll end up talking about that too. But so let's close this shit show out. Imran, for the 2 people who don't know, here's your website. What do you guys got going on over there?
You can visit jockandnerd.com to find the Jock and Nerd podcast with myself and Anthony, who is the.
I don't want to hear you talk about it. Anthony, tell us about
Anthony. You tell them.
I'm like that you're showing this right now, and Imran's face is blocked by your little crawl.
I'm right here. See, hello.
I'm glad he's blocked. Jock and Nerd podcast. We talk about movies, comic book stuff. Not really sports, even though it's Jock and Nerd. It really makes no sense why we even call it that. I don't play any goddamn sports. But Jock and Nerd podcast.
Got him.
Like, if you like me and Imran, check it out. jockandnerd.com.
Just
and then Mikey, the bin. What's going on in the bin this week?
The bin. I just did our gaming streaming thing, and we just did our Patreon call. You can check out the regular episodes of the podcast. We live stream them in much the same format. Every Thursday, it's me, another person from Chicago, someone from Orange County, someone in Essex in the UK, and someone in Umeå, Sweden. It's a weird language. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
National players.
Yeah, so our time zone situation is fucked. So 2 p.m. on Thursdays, you guys can always catch the later casts. But yeah, I will post links somewhere.
And just a quick question for Tony, and actually all you guys. Are you more, well, not for Imran because we know the answer. Are you more excited for the NFL or for the boys?
Boys.
That's a good question.
I'm excited for NFL to see what Cam does in New England, and I'm sorry, I am still rooting for Le'Veon Bell. It's like the Jets.
He looks really slow.
The Jets are the new Cleveland. You know what I mean? Where players go to die. You know, we got to get him somewhere where he can
Perrine will be starting by halfway through the year.
You think so?
Yeah.
My first instinct was to say the boys, but the NFL. I mean, it's the NFL. I gotta lean towards the NFL.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if there's an explosion of COVID cases once they start playing games.
Too. Oh, y'all now with Cap. Okay, I understand. I get it. No, some people just aren't with Cap. I get it.
No, I'm with Cap. I'm with Cap, but Cap he's not trying to play. I don't think.
No, and we boycotted for 2 years. So
yeah.
You know,
I did not watch football for 2 years.
Still on it.
Wow.
You know?
For you.
Is it a shorter season?
No.
And I'm a former football player, so you know it was crazy for me.
Right. Okay. Well, a lot to look forward to. Thank you to Imran and to Tony for coming out and staying up late with us.
Gang.
The last word, Haas, close us out.
All right. Last word. Everybody.
I believe you've met my fitness consigliere.
I'm about to be your news consigliere. Okay. Here's what and I've been trying to do this more lately the last few weeks. When you are looking for news sources, I try to use the top 5 now. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'll try to find the AP.
Trump has just pardoned Rittenhouse.
I want to try to find an AP, Reuters, Al Jazeera. Those 3 are always in the top 3 to 5 of most.
Oh, BBC too.
BBC as well. Those news sources are always in the top 5 as far as being unbiased and truthful. So what I'm trying to do is, if I see something on MSNBC, if I see something on CNN, if I see something on Breitbart or OANN or whatever, you know, the Washington Post or the Washington Times or New York Times, what I will do is try to find it on one of those 4 to 5 top 5 unbiased and truthful news outlets and read those articles and those posts, and then if possible, share that and talk about those things, because we live in an age where you get so much information and so much of the information is tainted, slanted, you know, to the left or the right. I mean, MSNBC does a bad job sometimes because they're so left. We know what
they're ridiculously left.
You know, and you know, CNN does it sometimes too. So what I'm trying to do, and I think it would be good for all of us to do, is look at those top 3 to 5 outlets that are always ranked and near the top in being unbiased and truthful, and try to get your information from there in order to take out the noise, to try to take out some of the noise. We all want to be informed. We want to be informed. And that is one of the unintended good consequences of having the Lotus defiler in the president's office, is that we have an engagement now that is far increased from 6 to 8 years ago. So what we need to do is strip out the noise. Find those outlets that are truthful, unbiased. Get out of your echo chambers. Try to find information that is not going to speak to your ideology. It's just going to speak the facts. And if you can do that, number one, you might learn something. But number two, you won't be guilty of disseminating nonsense. Okay? So be kind to each other. Show people respect. But also, if that is your mindset, you have to want and desire to be an active person in dismantling the systems that show disrespect to others.
And wash your hands.
Wash your hands, brush your teeth. Don't go to bed with a nasty.
And Wakanda forever.
And Wakanda
forever.
All right, gentlemen, that's it for tonight. Thank you again so much to everybody. Thank you to the listener for tuning in to the show. Hopefully, I'm able to pull this down and get good audio. So we'll see you motherfuckers next week on Voice from the Underground.
Peace. I'm student number 1.